And do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
So I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We are, okay. And now we'll go into closed session and we'll be back at 7 o'clock for the pledge. Oh, can we take public comment on the closed session item only? Do you have any public comment on the closed session item?
Mayor Kendall, I have no speaker slips for persons in the Don Tatson Community Hall, and I have no hands raised in our virtual audience.
Great, thank you. All right, well, now we'll go into closed session and be back at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
We're recording.
Hello, everybody. We're coming back from a closed session with no reportable action. And right now we will go to the Pledge of Allegiance. Sorry, Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And this is the first meeting of the month. And so at the first meeting of the month, the mayor reads off the land acknowledgement statement. So this is our recently adopted land acknowledgement statement. So we acknowledge that Lafayette is part of the unceded ancestral homeland of the Bay Miwok people. The Bay Miwok and neighboring Ohlone people have lived in and moved through this place for thousands of years. They stewarded it and shaped this land for hundreds of generations. We express our appreciation and gratitude for this profound legacy, which enhances and contributes to our lives to this day. We will strive to honor this land and strengthen our ties with the indigenous communities that continue to live and work in our East Bay region as our neighbors and community members. We acknowledge and honor them and their ancestors, elders, and next 7 generations. So thank you. So this next item is public comments for items not on the agenda. So do we have any public comments for items not on the agenda?
If anyone wishes to address the city council on a matter not on tonight's agenda, you would need to fill out a yellow speaker slip in the back. Or for any item going forward tonight, I would need a yellow speaker slip so I can call you to the podium by name. Mayor, I have no speaker slips for persons in the Don Tatson Community Hall, and I have no hands raised in our virtual audience.
Great, thank you. Now we'll go on to item 9, city manager's update.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. This is my update. I provide an update at every council meeting just to let people know what's going on within the city departments. I'm going to call this the good news update. I have 2 pieces of good news. One is any homeowner who wishes to obtain a permit to build an accessory dwelling unit or an ADU may be eligible for a rebate through our newly launched ADU Accelerator program. We have about $50,000, and we ask that all we need is plans for the ADU. We issue the ADU, and we require that it be completed within 18 months. So anyone interested should contact the planning department. The second is a big congratulations to all the local businesses that were chosen as Best of the East Bay by Diablo Magazine. I think this is the first time that we have so many Lafayette businesses. First recognition to the Chamber for Best Festival and for Best Local Road Running Race, which is the Res Run. I just want to quickly read out just the list of businesses that are all Lafayette. We're so proud of them and we congratulate them. Town Hall Theater, Lafayette Park Hotel, Vintage Vida, Sharp Bicycle, First Mile Cycle Works, La Marinda Music, Diablo Foods, Whole Foods, Creative Alterations, Luck Lafayette, Little Seeds, Tutus, Rev, Uncle Hughes, Swad, the Cancer Support Community, La Marinda Gynecology and Surgery, Artistry MK, Pandora Nail Spa, Caroline Salon, Douglas Design, Abode Flooring and Finishes, and Orchard Nursery. It's we're so proud. Thank you, Mayor.
Great, thank you. All right, so next is our presentation, and we have Chief here, Chief Williams. He's not, come on up, do your presentation.
Close. Don't be scared. Good evening. So I am trying to bring forward our new employees when we get them to make sure that you all get a chance to meet them and that the community can meet them as well. So we've got 3 new employees with Lafayette PD. First off, I'm going to introduce our new crime scene investigator, Haley Cuellar. Haley is our new CSI. He joined Lafayette just this month on July 7th. Haley is original from Shingle Springs, California, and graduated from Ponderosa High School in 2021. That same year, she began the University of California, Davis, where she earned a Bachelor in Science degree in entomology. Her academic focus included forensic entomology, chemistry, and biochemistry, making her a unique and valuable addition to our investigative team. Before joining Lafayette PD, Haley gained hands-on experience through internships with both Yolo County Coroner's Office and the UC Davis Police. These opportunities helped solidify her passion for forensic science and public service. Outside of her work, Haley enjoys spending time hiking, running with her Chihuahua named Skippy, and spending time at the beach. We're excited to have Haley join the Lafayette PD and look forward to her contributions in supporting our mission through detailed and dedicated forensic work. So welcome aboard, Haley. Yeah. Put these on to make my reading easier here. All right, next we have Detective Gabriella Giovanetti. She joined the Lafayette PD in January 2025 as an officer. She's now currently a detective as of this month. So she's a local graduate of College Park High School in class 2015. She went to earn her Bachelor of Science degree in criminal justice with a minor in sociology from California State University, Sacramento. While completing her education, Detective Giovanetti developed strong leadership and customer service skills working as a barista and assistant manager for the Dutch Bros Coffee, serving in Davis, Dixon, and Woodlands. So we're going to have some good coffee at the police department. Looking forward to it. She began her law enforcement career with Contra Costa Sheriff's Office in October of 2020. She first served at the Martinez Detention Facility before transitioning to patrol in March of 2023, where she was assigned to our Delta and Bay stations. Detective Giovanetti was selected to work in Lafayette, as I stated earlier, in January of this year. She has shown a ton of enthusiasm, professionalism, and clear commitment to community policing. She was chosen as our Lafayette PD detective just this month. Outside of work, she spends quality time with her husband, Jeremy, and their 2 dogs, Rocky, who's a 10-year-old German Shepherd, and Maple, their spirited 9-month-old Labrador Retriever. We're proud to have Detective Giovanetti with Lafayette, and we look forward to her service as a detective here with us. And last but not least, we have Officer Zach Cowan. I'm pleased to introduce Officer Zach Cowan. He joined the police for Lafayette just in June of this year at shift change, June 30th. So he holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from CSU Long Beach in 2012. That same year, he enlisted in the U.S. Air Force, where he proudly served this country and completed an associate's degree in meteorology through the Community College of the Air Force. Following his military service, he moved to Contra Costa to pursue a career in law enforcement. He graduated from the Law Enforcement Training Center in 2021 and began working with the Sheriff's Office here. Where did he start off? In the jail in Martinez, where we all start off, it seems like. After 2 years at the jail, he transferred to the Patrol Division, serving the communities of Muir Station and Bay Station. Now assigned to the city of Lafayette, he brings a strong work ethic, commitment to public service, and a well-rounded background with both military and law enforcement experience. Outside of work, Officer Cowan enjoys life at home with his wife of 10 years and their 2 children. We're proud to welcome him also to Lafayette PD. That's all I got.
Thank you, Chief. I love, please continue to do this when you get new hires. I really enjoy meeting all of you and putting a face to the names and getting, to know you guys better. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you for your feedback.
Yes.
We're happy to do it.
Of course. Any other comments? All right, any public comment? Oh, Jim, sorry.
I just want to say, I hope you can all fit in the police station, and we really welcome your service. Welcome to Lafayette. You're part of a great team, and we have a ton of respect for the police and for the service you all provide. So thank you, and thank you for being with us.
Yes. Great. Any public comment?
And no public comments at this time, Mayor Kendall.
Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you for the other ones that came too. Thank you. Just a lot of good news so far. I love that. I know, it stopped now. We're ahead. Okay, do I have a motion to adopt the consent calendar, or does anybody want to pull anything? No? Okay, does any member of the public want to pull a member from the consent calendar? An item from the consent? All right, thank you. Okay, so do I have a motion?
So I'll move adoption of the consent calendar.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye, thank you. And that included the 2024 traffic calming program, the projects that were on there, so congratulations. So now we'll go to public hearings. So Greg and,
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, members of the public. You'll recall that last year, end of 2024, the city council adopted the six-cycle housing element. We submitted that to the State Department of Housing and Community Development in January. In March, we received a certification letter, and that housing element includes roughly 60 implementation programs. And so we are here with the first tranche of housing element implementation programs for you this evening. And I'll turn it over to Stephanie Cervantes, Senior Planner.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll be giving the presentation for tonight's item for zoning text amendment 01-25. So
would
as
you get closer to the mic? Make sure people in the audience are aware here too.
Thank you. As was mentioned, the housing element was certified by the state March of this year, and that has allowed staff to move on to the implementation. And so the items, the zoning text amendment that you're seeing tonight is really the easy amendments that we can do to partially or fully implement 8 of the programs that are in the housing element part. Housing element. The zoning text amendments they also remove unused portions of code, revise sections for housing goals, and implement state laws. And the zoning text amendments were reviewed by the Planning Commission in April and June of this year. And so I'll just briefly go through the different sections that are being revised. So the first is chapter 6.6-3, which is our definitions chapter. And so we're implementing 2 housing programs with this, which are 10.3E and 10.3C related to family definition and farm worker housing. And then we are also adding a new definition for vacant lot in order to address some implementation of state laws that have different regulations for vacant versus developed lots. We're also making amendments to chapter 6-4, which is the activity classifications. So we are adding a new classification for boarding house that will let us know what is a boarding house and what is not a boarding house. And we're also implementing 3 programs, which include 7.1D, which is the permanent supportive housing, 7.1E, which is group homes for 7 or more persons, and 10.3D, which is the low barrier navigation centers. And so for those, we are adding new classifications, generally under the supportive care, but also the different uses that fall under that umbrella, including foster care, group homes, things like that. For chapter 6-7, our general provisions, we're implementing those same 3 programs, and that is to essentially the permitted uses, where they're permitted, how they're permitted. So those same housing implement. And in this section, you will notice that when you look at the red line, it's pretty much a whole makeover of that section. And that is due just to the fact that the last time that was revised was 2014, and there's been a lot of changes in state law since that time. And then we're also adding section 5-356 to reflect that boarding houses are generally not permitted in the city. So under part 3, land use districts, we're adding a summary table that's been used as a handout for many years. It contains all the activity classifications as well as the zoning districts, and it's an easy to use table that allows, that tells us permitted uses, does it require use permit or is it prohibited in that zoning district? The city has used it, but it's been a handout. And so we're trying to incorporate that into the zoning ordinance. And as well as incorporating into the zoning ordinance, we're also adding those new activity classifications that were added as well. For Chapter 6-13, our special districts, this is where we're removing unused portions of code. So both of Article 2 and 3 relate to ag uses, ag districts in the city. When you look at our zoning map and our land use map, we don't have any. So these are just unused portions of code that are not needed at this point. For Chapter 6-34, reasonable accommodations, we're implementing Program 7-1G, which is our emergency shelter districts, or sorry, shelters. And so for this chapter, it's an amendment to the definitions and to the standards for emergency shelters and to conform with state law. We're also changing, oh, I'm sorry, I was talking about reasonable accommodations. So Chapter 6-35, emergency shelters, this is where we are changing definitions and standards. In Chapter 6-34, reasonable accommodations, we're changing just one of the findings. We're removing one of the findings to conform with state law. Chapter 6-37, inclusionary housing. This is to implement Program 6-1C, which is the inclusionary housing ordinance. So this is just a minor revision to this chapter. The city will be fully implementing this program in a future action. So this is just a small change to the chapter that will remove the application of the inclusionary housing ordinance from downtown only and will make it citywide. And this is to reflect that residential development outside of the downtown area should also be including inclusionary housing on site on the project. And then the last chapter that's being amended is 6-38, which is the housing development and urban lot splits, commonly known as the SB 9. So there's some clarifications as well as conformance with new state law. So the city has not received any comments related to this item. And staff recommends that the city council hold a public hearing, introduce and waive the first reading of the ordinance, and continue the matter to July 28th for the second reading and adoption. That does conclude my presentation. I am available for questions, and I also have all the zoning text available on slides if any of the council members would like to look at any detailed language.
Great, thank you very much. All right, does anybody have any questions?
So this is the obvious question, you know, from what I gather, but just looking at some of these definitions, really all we're doing is aligning our documentation with state definitions. We're just basically like bringing it all current. So if we're talking about foster homes, domiciles, or low barrier navigation centers, we're just syncing up our language with what the state already is going to put out there through various laws and regulations. That's my understanding.
That's correct.
Yeah. So thank you. I figured I'd ask the obvious question. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Great. And thank you very much. It was actually, this seems great, and I appreciate the inclusion of the summary table, which was like easy to read. I just have just a clarifying question on the boarding house situation. It's not like there's a lot, you put in definitions, and we just kind of said we're not doing it. So this was, I'm just kind of curious, was this something that we were, was it an issue before that we didn't have the definition and explicitly restricted them, or how did that work?
Yeah,
Or is this just a state law compliance?
Thank you for the question. So no, it's not an issue that the city is dealing with. The addition of the activity classification and the clarification that it's prohibited is to avoid future issues.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Great, I did have two just super, I don't know if they're even on point. So on the page 35 of the document, in specific findings required, item C was basically, you know, if in the item it reads, in making a determination regarding the reasonableness of a requested modification, the following factors shall be considered. It was special needs created by the disability, potential benefit that can be accomplished by the requested modification, and then potential impact on surrounding uses, but it was struck out. And I was just wondering why that was struck out.
Yeah, so state law prohibits reasonable accommodation applications from, it prohibits the city from reviewing essentially impacts to surrounding neighbors that could be considered subjective. And so that's a simple way to conform with the state law is to remove that finding. So staff will still make the best judgments, but we can't use that as a finding for approving or denial of the application.
Great. And then just one more thing on the objective standards. It was on page 51 of the document. And then it says building height shall not exceed 35 feet as defined in section 6-313 and 2.5 stories. But then the next part, building height for ADUs where permitted shall not exceed 17 feet. But that was completely struck out. I thought we still had a state law that limited the heights of ADUs. And so I was surprised that we didn't conform to the state, or we just struck it out. Like we have no height limit at all now for ADUs, and that seemed odd.
Yeah, so the city still has height limits for ADUs that are under our ADU ordinance.
But we said it in here. We said we did have it, shall not exceed 17 feet. And so we did have it, and now we're not having it.
Yeah, so this is what relates specifically to SB 9 applications. So under our new ADU ordinance and under state law, there's different height requirements for ADUs, depending on the type of ADU and things like that. So this was just to clarify that when an SB 9 with an ADU comes in, we would be applying the ADU ordinance to the ADU versus this prohibition on height.
So maybe we should make it like, it point to the other saying, you know, basically, or whatever, maybe for clarity. It doesn't mean that we don't have it. It's just somewhere else now, maybe. Would that be helpful? A cross-reference, kind of, if that makes sense. Thank you. All right. All right, so any other comments? Yeah, go ahead.
One, I'll refer to it as a grammar comment on page 9, the vacant lot definition. Did you have a chance to look at that? Right now, the definition, it's not parallel in terms of the sections at the end.
We did take a look at that, but we weren't unable to make the change for the packet.
Okay,
So
so shall I mention what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to do it during other?
Well, if anyone wants to comment,
Oh,
although I don't
perfect,
think I don't think it's a burning issue. I'll wait.
Excellent. Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You want me to, okay.
Yeah.
It's just on the definition of vacant lot, be changing having to that has, so that it's that has no permanent structures, is undeveloped, or contains a permanent structure.
Okay. Perfect, thank you. All right, so we will move on to public comment.
Okay, the city council is taking public comments on item 14A. Mayor Kandel, I have no speaker slips from persons in our community hall, and I have no hands raised in our virtual audience, so there are no public comments.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, so let's discuss your change then first, right? And so instead of saying, so exactly we want it to read. So vacant lot means any parcel or lot having no permanent structures, or that has
No
no,
permanent structures is undeveloped, so it's got a verb for each one.
thank you. Are there any other changes? And I'll propose that we have a cross-reference for the ADUs. All right, other than that?
Well,
Okay,
I'll move adoption of the staff recommendation with the two amendments that we discussed this evening.
I'll second that.
all right, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Wow, that's some wonky policy discussion. Excellent. So now we will go on to Stephanie Cervantes and the Oak Hill Place project. And so the way this one will be handled is that we'll have a staff presentation and ask some questions, and then we'll have the applicant has, what, 10 minutes? 10 minutes. Then we can ask questions. Then we'll hold public comment. We'll hold the public hearing, public comment. Then we'll come back, and the applicant gets a rebuttal of 5 minutes. And then we'll go on to our deliberations. So I just want people to understand the process is a little bit different for this item.
Excuse me. Yeah, so I will be presenting the Oak Hill Place project tonight, which is a major subdivision with a hillside development, a grading permit and a tree permit for 17 new units with 3 attached ADUs at 3600 Deer Hill Road. So the project site is located on the northwestern corner of Oak Hill Road and Deer Hill Road. It is approximately 3.19 acres, and it is zoned R10, and it has a hillside overlay district. It also has a land use designation of medium density residential, which allows up to 6 dwelling units per acre. So the lot is just north of the BART station as well as Highway 24. Some existing conditions on the site. The site is sloped. It is relatively a square with a little bit of a jog at the northern corner of the site. There is a high point to the west that is the top of the ridge, and it generally slopes down towards Oak Hill Road and Deer Hill Road at the intersection. There are a number of trees on the site, and a lot of them are clustered around a man-made swell that runs along Oak Hill Road. On this site, we do have some existing easements, including a slope easement generally along the area that is known as the crosses. We also have a sanitary easement to a private property owner to the north, and there is also a PG&E easement on the site. So moving on to the project description. As mentioned, there is a tentative map associated with this project. There are a number of parcels as well as lots that will be created, so I'll just walk through them really quickly. So parcel A is the orange, which is going to be an open space lot that includes a community park. Parcel B will also be an open space parcel that's next to the driveway access. Parcel C, which is in gray, it looks a little brown on the screen here, is streets. There's the driveway access as well as the loop and 2 courts that are proposed. Parcel D in green is a remainder parcel that it will keep the crosses, the memorial. Parcel E in yellow is between lots 7 and 16, and that will be a new sewer easement. And then lots 1 through 17 in the white are the new proposed single-family homes. So as mentioned, the overall site is 3.19 acres. Parcel D, which is the crosses, is removed as developable area, so the developable space is 2.3 acres. The project proposes 17 lots, with each containing a single-family home. 3 of the lots will have attached ADUs, and those 3 are the 3 in the middle loop, 8 through 10. There is a proposed community park, which will preserve a 100-year-old valley oak that can be seen just to the right of lot 1. You see kind of a circle surrounded in purple. That's the existing tree with the community park just north of that. So just walking through some parcel sizes and unit sizes really quickly. So the smallest parcel size is just over 2,300. That would be unit 7. And the largest is unit 17, just above 3,600 square feet. The footprint of these homes ranges from 1,100 to 1,300 square feet. The smallest units are 2 bedrooms, which includes units 11, 16, and 17. And the largest units are the middle units, which are 4 bedrooms and are a little over 2,000 square feet. And these do have the attached ADUs, which are 330 square feet. All the homes have an attached 1-car garage and will also have an assigned parking space. The project is proposing 5 different floor plans, so that's labeled plans 1 through 5. And you can see they're kind of clustered except for plan 4, which does include unit 11 to the south and unit 16 and 17 just north of the driveway. And I'll just quickly walk through these. So plan 1, which will be for units 1 through 3 on the western side. These are 4 bedroom, 2 stories. Again, they have a 1-car garage and will also have a 1 assigned space. Plan 2 includes units 4 through 7, which is chart to the north, along the northern property line, these are 3-bedroom units that are 2 stories. These will also have an office space, and again, we'll have the 1-car garage with the assigned space. Plan 3 includes units 8 through 10, so these are the largest units with 4 bedrooms and the attached studio ADUs. And again, these are, because of the slopes on the site, on the front elevation, they read as 2, maybe 1.5 stories, but on the back elevation, they read as a more traditional 3-story. Plan 4 is a single-story plan, which for 2-bedroom units, and these are the smallest units on the project at just over 1,000 square feet. And again, they'll have the attached 1-car garage. Plan 5, the last plan, will be for the units 12 through 15. These are 2-story units. So again, because of the slopes on the front, which will be facing the development, they read more as like 1.5, and in the back, they'll read as a 2-story. And that back is what you'll see from Oak Hill Place. So for parking and access, they are proposing 1 driveway for in and out access towards the northern side of the property. They are proposing 34 parking spaces, so that is the 1 attached garage for each unit plus the 1 assigned space. There is a shared bicycle shed near the driveway that's what's circled near unit 15. And there is also a mulch path. So there's an existing, almost like fire road on the site that will be improved with mulch, and there will also be a staircase that will allow pedestrians within the development to get to the intersection of Oak Hill without having to go kind of up the hill and then back down. And there is also a new public path along Oak Hill Road that's proposed that will be ADA compliant and 6 feet wide, that goes along the man-made swell and will be surrounded by trees. So the project site, there's 160 trees on or near the project site. Of those, 96 are proposed to be removed. Of those that are to be removed, 80 are considered protected under the new city's tree preservation ordinance due to the species and/or size. As previously mentioned, the project does preserve the 100-year-old valley oak tree. And the light green that looks a little brown on the screen here is existing vegetation that's to remain. They will also be keeping 64 of the trees on site as well. And again, they're proposing the Central Park. There will be planting at each of the new homes as well as on retaining walls. And they're proposing new trees along the northern and the southern project boundaries to address privacy and views. These are just 2 of the renderings of the project. There was more renderings in the packet. So the one on the top is what you would see if you're standing kind of underneath that 100-year-old oak tree. You can see units 4 through 7 in the back. And then the bottom rendering is if you're standing in front of unit 4, you're kind of looking at the community park as well as looking at units 8 through 10. And you can see unit 15 towards the back. Moving on to the analysis. The project is compliant with the general plan. It supports housing goals. It supports land use policies. The project also complies with the zoning ordinance, except for the requested waivers, which I'll talk about in more detail in a second. So in terms of state law, the project does comply with the Housing Accountability Act. The project did submit a preliminary SB 330 application that was deemed complete. They are requesting the density bonus, and the project is also categorically exempt from CEQA. In terms of the density bonus law, due to the general plan of the site, which is medium density single-family residential, they are allowed up to 6 dwelling units per acre. That's calculated just from the developable area, the 2.3 acres, which gives them the base density of 14. The project is providing 1 unit or 7% of the units as very low income, which allows them to get up to a 25% bonus or 4 additional units, which would equal 18 units. The project proposes 17 units. The By providing on-site affordable housing, they're also allowed up to one incentive and concession and unlimited waivers to development standards. So the project is asking for one concession, and that is to apply the new tree preservation ordinance that went into effect after the SB 330 application was deemed complete. They're also requesting a number of waivers from development standards, which are the height to increase the number of stories from 2.3 that are permitted per the zoning district to 3. Parking design to allow parking within the front yard setback areas of the new proposed lots. They're also requesting waivers from the width and the depth of the R10 zoning district, and they're requesting a waiver from height limitations in required yards to allow a maximum fence structure height above 6 feet within the required yards. Because they did submit an SB 330 application, the city can have up to 5 hearings on this project. The Planning Commission heard this project twice, once in March and once in May of this year. And the project also went to the Design Review Commission just last month for recommendation as well. So we are at the 4th of the 5 meetings. The purpose of today's meeting is to approve the waivers and concessions as required per the municipal code. There was public notice that was sent, legal ads that were put in the paper. And we did receive a number of public comments on this project. We received several letters of support from residents and from housing advocacy organizations. We also received letters of concern from abutting neighbors and nearby residents. The concerns related to the proposed density, the building massing and height, the driveway access and traffic, privacy impacts, and fire safety. Most of these concerns had already been reviewed by staff prior to the public hearing process starting and have been deemed acceptable. Some of the other concerns have been addressed by the applicant by making changes to the project in order to address the concerns. So tonight, staff recommends that the City Council adopt Resolution 2025-38, finding that the project is exempt from CEQA and approving the project. And I am available for questions as well as the applicant.
Thank you. Another great presentation. Thank you, Stephanie. Does anybody have any questions?
No, because we're going to hear from the applicant soon, right?
But I was wondering, no.
Well, I did have a question then, actually.
Okay.
I've watched both of the Planning Commission sessions on this, but I am kind of curious. I know there's no parking requirement, but was there a discussion how the parking flow is going to work for guests or deliveries or anything when the parking is assigned to the units, if I'm understanding the way this is working?
Yes, thank you for the question. There were some discussions with the applicant related to that. So my understanding is that there will be some loading zones in the development. Just due to the low number of residential units, staff does not anticipate that traffic will be a major issue. So delivery, waste pickup, things like that should not be creating any major traffic impacts for the residents of the development. In terms of parking, that will be of assigned parking and guest parking, that would be left up to the HOA.
Okay, so there's additional spots. I guess when I was reading it, it was like there's 34 total, which equals one garage and one, next right in front of it, basically, or one assigned spot per each unit. So I should know if you had talked about if there's you have 2 cars visiting a unit, how that works.
Yeah, so some of the assigned spots are on the driveway and some of the other assigned spots are accommodated kind of off-site, but on the project site. So there's a small parking area near the driveway that will be accommodating some of the parking as well. For the units that do not have sufficient space in front of the garages for driveway space.
And then how about the units with ADUs, where you potentially would have an additional living situation there? That would potentially be, there's no additional parking for those, right?
There was no additional parking required or provided for the ADUs.
Thank you.
Great. I have just one quick one. So the orange parts of the parcels, it's a separate parcel. and deemed for open space, which I totally appreciate, but I was just wondering, because usually you would look at a lot like that and they would just divide it into two parcels, one for the crosses and one for the development. But we've got this third orange one, and I was just wondering why we did it like that. And maybe the applicant can answer that question when it comes up.
Yeah, so I'll just respond really quickly from the city's perspective. So parcel D, the green, that's the crosses, and parcel A, that's essentially all the open space that will be managed by the HOA. So it includes just landscape space, the new Oak Hill, the new sidewalk that will go along Oak Hill, as well as the community park. And so all that space will be managed by the HOA.
That makes it really clear what is managed by the HOA and what isn't managed by the HOA. Thank you.
So just to be clear, the new pathway, the 6-foot pathway along Oak Hill is a privately maintained pathway. It's not a city walkway.
Yeah, I'm going to refer that question to the applicant, since they've been working with our engineering department.
Sounds great. Thank you. Any other? All right, thank you. We will now hear from the applicant.
I'll set the timer for 10 minutes.
Great.
Correct?
Okay. Hi. Maybe we get our slides up. Thank you, Stephanie. She's done a great job. Nice report, and thank you everybody for your support. The staff's been great. Here we go. Oak Hill Place. I just want to start with what we're excited about, because you've gotten this really nice detailed report. But I want to say that the overarching theme of this project is preservation, community, and sustainability. And I'll go more into that later. Could you change the slide, please? Next slide. Get used to
Change the slide. Is it working?
I'm gonna be like quick moving. I have more slides than I need here. I just want to introduce myself. So I'm Laura Dudo. I'm local to start with. This is a picture of my husband growing up in Burton Valley with his extended Italian family here, going all through school here. We raised our kids here, so local developer. I think it means something because it means I care. In the middle, that's me working at the crosses. I think it's the best way to spend your Veterans Day. Great day to pay homage. And that's me doing the mural next to Uncle U's, also involved with community arts as well. So a little bit about me. Next slide. So this is the site. It's behind the memorial, and you can kind of get to see like what a quarter a mile and what a half mile looks like, where there's no parking required, because we're literally across the street from BART. Obviously, we would like parking. The image on the right, I just wanted to right away say, like, the yellow area that I put in this diagram is the memorial. I care deeply about it. And no matter what happens with the housing, I've always said at the beginning of every hearing, like, that's safe to stay, because we have an easement for them, we've written it, and it's recorded at the county, and no changes are proposed at this time for that. Next slide. This is sort of like how the process how the site plan came to be. I think it's important for you guys to know that this has been a long process, and even before that first date, it took us 4 months to get deemed complete. So we've been at this for quite a bit. And I just want to start with, like, A is kind of like, we started with preservation at the heart of this. That beautiful oak tree that you can see from all over Lafayette, the ridge line of trees at the top, we try to drop the entire development back behind the ridge. We sunk it. Then you move over, and the first thing I did was, well, I really want to have a village green, something central for this community to enjoy. So I put that south-facing park celebrating that tree. Then we worked deeply with the fire department and a consultant as well. And this is what they wanted. So we had about 17 different iterations of this road. And this is why we did it, is because this is what they wanted. So then we came and we looked at the kind of setbacks. We honored the setbacks on all sides of the outsides of the property. Okay, so that was the next step. Then we started to look at, okay, well, we wanted front porches out to this village green, so we blocked out a courtyard of buildings. I'm looking at E now. And my original intention was, okay, along Oak Hill Road, maybe we leave it a little more organic and leave that kind of semi-rural feel. after the first planning commission, we really got a lot of feedback about pedestrian safety. And that, in my mind, became like the number one driver after that, because like, couldn't live with yourself if you don't, if you don't respond to that, right? So we knew we had to put a sidewalk in. There wasn't enough room. There's a lot of beautiful oaks along there. There's also a lot of really not so nice trees there and kind of a garbage trash collector in that man-made culvert. So we decided to fill in the man-made culvert, underground the drainage, and get a nice clean row of buildings there that would be a nice gateway into Oak Hill. We were also able to respond to a lot of the adjacent neighbors' issues because of this. So there was a big jump between first planning commission and second planning commission. So next slide. So these were some of the comments: pedestrian safety, balancing the site regarding cut and fill, which right away filling in that culvert helped us with that. The building heights, I'll talk a little bit more about that. We really talked, we got a lot of comments actually from housing advocates saying like 15 units, can't you kind of beef it up? You're doing a California density bonus, can't we get more? So we responded to that. The tree ordinance, I actually just also, while I'm thinking of this, because I'm thinking of the tree ordinance, I want to say that I did sit down with Susan Condell about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. So I showed her this project. So I think we have to say that publicly.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so having said that, we talked a little about the tree ordinance, about zone 0, and about really me trying to do the right thing in terms of creating a very sustainable and resilient landscape. And then just the adjacent neighbors. So I'll go into these next. Next slide. So on the left, you can see the type of housing. Okay, so what are we doing here? We're really trying to respond to something that is kind of unmet in Lafayette. It's like a mixed density. It's a gentle density increase from this kind of legacy neighborhood upstream, which, by the way, I kind of live up in there, so I find it beautiful. And I just think that this lot, it's the right thing to do is to not do a single family house, right, across from BART. So I was trying to kind of weave this density and do the best I could to respond and respect the kind of single family neighborhood. The way we did that was by making these single family, 0 lot line. You can own your home. There's that kind of pride of ownership. And there's this kind of inward community. I really wanted to provide a mix of housing types so that we can meet this, quote, missing middle. And what does that mean? It means that there's going to be 3 homes in Lafayette that are 1,000 square feet. Like, I don't even know where you get that if it's not a condo, right? So these are going to be very excited people who get these houses. And then we have these family homes, and we've really made a very, very conscious effort to put a lot of the primary bedrooms on the ground level. So we imagine a lot of empty nesters here, a lot of first-time, last-time buyers, and just people who want to walk to town. On the right is our social connections diagram. I really thought of this more as like, how can we just like right-size the car a little bit and make this about meeting your neighbor? Okay, next slide. So private patio and porch, doing these subdivisions, you're kind of like, where's the garbage, where the dogs go, so this is all worked out. Like everybody has a little private patio that they can have a dinner party outside that's their own. Everybody has a place for their garbage. Everybody has a front porch looking out onto a community spot. On the right, everybody has their parking. I'm going to respond right now to the parking question, which is everybody has 2 spots. Right? And this is not required, but I did talk to the neighbors across the street who also have a very uphill lot and very little access for parking. And I said, so what do you do when you have a party? And they're like, on the weekends you park at BART and or street parking. Like it's kind of like any other downtown multifamily area. So I think there's workarounds, and I think in some ways we adjust, and we need to. Next slide. So this is the sidewalk moving up. This was our new creation once we filled in that culvert. It was my goal to try to preserve a few of the oak trees along there because they're beautiful. We've done our best. I think we've saved 4 along the edge by moving the walkway in and weaving it into and giving an easement onto our property for the walkway. This will be an asphalt walkway, which typically gets maintained by the city. And we've been working with the city engineers. That was one of the conditions when we agreed to do this, that this would be a city-maintained walkway. Everything around it would be HOA. Next slide. So one of the things, it's funny, but we got some comments about height, but not too many. I kind of stood back when I saw the story poles. I'm like, wow, I'd like to fix that. So I was actually able to bring the Oak Hill buildings down by 10 feet, second round. So I'm super proud of that, and I think they're going to be great looking. The whole thing just kind of just settled in a little bit once we were able to fill in that culvert and not work around all this slope. Next slide. So we're just going to move through these real quick. I think next slide again, you've seen these, and we'll just kind of move through these quickly. Next slide. Here I just wanted to stop. I don't know where I am with time. I have additional slides at the end of this deck to respond to particular questions about the following things: landscape details, third-story waiver, because there's a little bit of confusion about what that is. It's really not a 3-story building. It's a 2-story building that moves down with the slope, and there's one section at the stairs which goes to 3 stories. So where we are under the height limit for every building on the site, except for, and even this is under the height building, except that in that area where you move up the 3 stories from the ADU to the 3rd-story loft, you go to 3 stories. But the faces are still 1 story and 2 stories. So I just want to be clear about that. Anyway, we also have a slide about a neighborhood cooperation agreement. We've worked out a pretty extensive, and I have extensive slides about this, sight lines and studies about how we've worked with the neighbors. I've met with over 50 neighbors at my table showing them this project. I've met with the immediately adjacent neighbors over 6 times sitting in their family room. And it's not easy. It's not easy for them. They've been looking at open space for 30 years, and it's hard. But we have worked out an agreement where I could move over 5 feet and back and up and down. And in order to do that, I needed them to let me build on this easement, which we were rebuilding anyway. So we have an agreement. It's been recorded with the county. The easement exchange is fact now. And then I can talk a little bit more about trees in Zone 0 if you want. So those are just like, if I need during the questions. Okay?
Very well timed. No, thank you. You might have some questions. Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. It was excellent. As I mentioned, I actually watched both your presentations to the Planning Commission. Thank you for the parking. I kind of assumed that was the case. I was just clarifying how that was going to work, and we'll hopefully it will work. I had a question on the path, which is tremendous, and I agree it's good, great improvement over the course of the meetings. I'm just wondering, I was just kind of thinking, obviously with this one, we want it to be as walkable, multimodal as possible. Is there lighting on the path, or what's our concern if you're walking that path, it's 5:30 p.m. on it in January? Does it need to be lit, or what? I wasn't sure if there's spillover, if you've considered that, spillover from BART or from the housing, the complex itself?
Yeah, that's a great question. You just hit me with a question I haven't had. And it seems to me I know there's lighting at the entrance of our driveways
Right.
on both sides. I don't know about the end, but that's certainly something we can look at. It does seem like it should be lit. It's a very dark corner.
Yeah, that was my thought, once you get over the hill, right?
Yeah.
You're doing a great job protecting it from the sideline.
Yeah.
Great, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that pathway to be useful should be.
And the second, I was really curious about the bike shed.
Mm-hmm.
Very interested in that, because again, I think it's going to multimodal, we encourage walking and biking. I was kind of wondering, but it was only glancingly referenced in the plans, and the little shed that was shown seemed very small. And I mean, I think, and my thought would be, because I think we want to encourage bike, I don't want to do too many comments. I just more that, will it be, I'm thinking it should be powered with e-bikes? Is there a plan to have power to the shed?
There was actually a goal to actually put some e-bikes in there for share and power them, so that it would be a commodity, like a shared inventory of bikes. That's the goal. It will take up to, I think, 10 bikes. And
Because I didn't see a dimension.
and there would be power. So the idea is that they would be electric bikes. So it might be a combination of the two. I have some friends with bike shops. We might get a little sponsorship, get a couple of bikes in there that can be shared. And other than that, it might be, I think that is to be worked out with the HOA.
That is, okay, great. So it's more of a shared thing, more than personal bikes being stored there. It was for
Correct.
shared?
Correct. It's a shared,
Phenomenal. That's
yeah.
very exciting. All right.
Yeah, just like the park.
All right, anybody else? Go ahead, please.
Thank you for the presentation. The slide deck is super helpful. So you touched on this, and I'm just kind of curious. So this is sort of a different kind of a project. It's not your traditional, 3-4 bedroom rancher. And you've made this into sort of a hybrid, it seems. You touched on this, but who do you see buying these units? And what's your, I'm just curious as to the marketing strategy here. Where does this fit in the context of what
Right.
Lafayette provides for housing?
Well, I do. I think it's kind of a hybrid, you know? I mean, I think we all love our single-family homes, the 4,000 square foot on a half acre. I just feel like it's not sustainable to keep doing that. And I also feel like the ridership on BART, it ought to be surrounded by folks that need it and can support it. So I think this is good for BART. I think there might be a lot of empty nesters there. I don't know for sure, except that when I share it with people, everybody wants to be on the wait list. So that could just be who I'm hanging out with. But I think it's your first home. I think it's young professionals. I don't think and probably not a lot of soccer moms here, to be honest. I mean, this is going to be people who are willing to be a single car family. So I think there's enough of us out there. Yeah.
Anything else? No, thank you. I appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you for reaching out to so many neighbors and giving us your time too as well. I did have a meeting with her. I don't know if you did with anybody else, and I was going to share that anyway, but thank you for making sure that I did. But appreciate everything that you've done, the personal touch for everybody. It helps us get through this process.
And I have additional slides if other questions come up.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're good. All right, so we'll go to open the public hearing, and we will take public comment.
Mayor Candell, I have one speaker slips for persons in the community hall. Our speaker is Jim Bava. And Jim will have 3 minutes, and if anybody else would like to speak, please fill out a slip. And
Okay, having been here before and expressed my displeasure with this whole project in general, I know that it's going to go through, and I appreciate the few things that Laura has done to accommodate me because I live adjacent to this project. The one thing that came up, and I heard the word lighting, and I'm a little concerned. I don't know if there's any public lighting involved. I didn't see any poles in any of these presentations, but I'm, living in the proximity that I do to this project, I'm a little cautious of seeing any street lights, pardon me,
Fair.
involved in this project. And of course, the noise factor is going to be what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Anyway, it's really the lighting more right now that I heard the word lights, and that's what brought it to mind.
Great, thank you, appreciate it. Any questions? All right, no questions, thank you.
Mayor Candell, I have no additional speakers at this time.
And no online, okay.
Nope.
Wow, I guess we will close the public hearing. Okay, so let's get back to the business here. Does anybody, any more questions? Oh, the rebuttal, the 5-minute rebuttal. We have a 5-minute rebuttal if you would like to take it.
It's optional.
You're good, okay, thank you. We will not have the 5-minute rebuttal. All right, so now we will go on to deliberations. Does anybody have any more questions first?
Question for the applicant, just to confirm, there are no street lights, and correct, in the plan? And the lighting that we were talking about was the lighting for the pathway?
Just for the path to ensure safe transport.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that what your question was, Mr. McCormick, was more like footpath.
That's right, footpath.
Like something just to light it up so at night. There are street lights for driving, but they're all approved, sky safe or, downward, they're night sky approved. In fact, that was a condition of approval from the design review so that's in there. And we've also submitted all of our specs and those are all in there. So I can understand that he wouldn't, that the neighbors wouldn't want anything shining up or glaring at them. And so that's been addressed. But I think we can certainly add some path lights of some sort along the sidewalk without hurting his vision. I think that answers it.
Great, thank you. Any other?
I just have comments, but no further questions.
Okay, so we will go to comments, or do you guys want to go through the resolution or the conditions of approval? Does anybody have any comments on either of those that we probably should? No, none, okay. There was a typo in the resolution. Where is the typo in the resolution?
Two slight changes to the resolution. I
Okay.
think staff will raise those.
Okay. All right, so we're,
Changing the references to Lafayette City Council instead of Planning Commission.
oh, okay.
Yes, thank you. Those have been changed.
Okay, thank you.
And there's a reference, development application was deemed incomplete as of November 14, 2025. I think it's 24.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah, I think it's just a date typo.
We can amend that as well, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. So with the very minimal changes I'm hearing for the resolution or the conditions of approval,
Mayor Kendall, we just have one additional suggestion. I don't think we covered the sale of the affordable units, making sure they comply with density bonus law. There's a condition that references how they look, but we want to make sure that the density bonus units are actually sold to qualified applicants.
okay, so you can add that to conditions of approval to sell the, great. It's just that one affordable unit, right? It's the one to the very low income. To the conditions, I'm sorry. Go ahead, why don't you go? Oh, okay, I guess, so we'll add a condition of approval regarding the sale of the very low income unit. To have it be consistent with,
Density bonus law.
The
to ensure
density
that it
bonus
gets
law.
Sold to, correct.
perfect. Thank you. Okay. To qualified, okay. Right, so I don't mind starting. Thank you for this project. It is a really, I think, beautiful and well-meant project for our town. And I appreciate everything that you've done and the thought you've put into it and the accommodations you did for all the neighbors. Even moving the road, I thought was very thoughtful regarding lights, apparently. So everything you've done has been very consistent with what we think Lafayette should be, and right there close to a BART station. So thank you. I am definitely in support of this project.
Yeah, I'm going to echo I think this project's inspiring. I think it shows what you can be done on a small piece of property and really making it, whether these be affordable or not, I think it's a price point we don't have right now, and I think we need more of it, and you show it can be beautiful and interesting. I'm especially interested in as I said, multimodal. I think being next to BART and leveraging that, and just the way we're doing the biking is very exciting. I think if you have the shared biking, it's really going to encourage people to, not get in their cars to go downtown. They can walk and they're the e-bike or whatever. So I think it's a great way showing how it can be done. And it's very creative. I think just the common areas, the village, I thought the village green, and I kind of love the social kind of side of the way you're thinking about it. It's very thoughtful. So again, I guess I'll echo Mayor Kendall's comments that this is, you can tell you're local and you're invested, and we appreciate it. And I'd seen the progression, as I said, from between meetings to meetings, seen the progression of the design. We don't always see that. And it's appreciated that you really took the comments to heart.
First, I'd like to start off, I'd like to thank our planning director, Greg Wolf, and planner Cervantes for walking me through the site this morning. I kind of felt like I really needed to see it because it's sort of tucked in, and we walked the site. And I really appreciate the narrative, how that oak tree, which is so striking, it's a beautiful example of a California Valley oak with a marker on it, a memorial marker on it. It's just, and how that became the centerpiece of this. I have to say, this is a really creative use of density bonus law in California. This is sort of like a great project that fits right in, and I think takes a really, it's a great transition point from the BART station up into this neighborhood. And I was asking the questions about the market because I could see how it fits the needs of many people who may not want that traditional 4-bedroom rancher anymore. So I love the creativity in this, the way the road got moved. It just seems like this is like real estate with a heart, is what struck me, because you could sort of see it in the design work, in the work that went into sort of developing the project, the effort to try to accommodate the neighborhood. And I agree with the mayor that scores of meetings with neighbors to try to get it right. And I think this is a project that gets it right. So I fully support this. So thank you.
Any comments?
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. I just have to say, I went to the site after you did this afternoon at noon, and it's such a beautiful site. But I was very surprised because the blue heron that hangs out at the reservoir was on the property. I don't know if you've seen it before or if it was when you were there, but it was down on the corner by Oak Hill and Deer Hill, and it took off and flew around the hill and came back and perched on the other side. That's a big bird. Huge. And I don't know if he normally hangs out on your property, but.
He normally hangs out on my property because he's trying to go for our little fish in our little pond. And they are enormous birds.
Yeah, it's huge. I
Yes.
was surprised to see him.
So great, he gets around. Good, he's going somewhere else. So thank you. So do I have a motion to, we've got the motion. Mike.
My apologies. It's like a Zoom call. I'll move approval of resolution 2025-38 with the amendments as mentioned referenced by the council. Thank you.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Congratulations.
Yeah, great.
Thank you very much. Thank you, staff, and everybody who worked so hard on this project. All right, so now we will go to council member and commission reports. Do we have any council members with reports?
Well, okay.
What's that? Okay, good.
So keeping up with my nature reports, we found ground nesting wasps on our property, and I only bring this up because we have a great service here. The Contra Costa Vector and Mosquito Control District will come to your house and remove ground nesting wasps. They won't do anything about the 3 other types of wasps. But if you have ground nesting wasps, you call them, they come within 5 business days. They're very professional, they take care of it efficiently, and that problem then disappears. And I'll also use this opportunity, because this will come back, there is a vacancy for the city of Lafayette on the board of the district. This is a special district. Jim Fitzsimmons was our representative for almost 20 years. There's a vacancy now, and anyone listening, and if you want to get involved in public service, that's a great one, because it's just a great service provided to our residents and other residents in the county. And he had a summer social. I attended that. It was a great event.
Great, thank you. Jim?
Just one item. Reading the newspaper of late, there are a number of cities that are grappling with very difficult budget challenges. To the south of us in Pleasanton, they went for a sales tax measure, it failed. They're dealing with cuts across the board. It's been tough and contentious. I mean, looking at they're a much bigger city than us. Their budget's much, much bigger. But proportionally, it was basically what we would have been dealing with had Measure H not passed. So I just wanted to sort of note that other cities are grappling with significant financial issues, and some of this is the follow-on to the pandemic, but just changes in the way revenues are collected. And I really want to thank the voters of Lafayette for approving Measure H. We need to be really careful about the budget going forward. I think the budget discussion showed that, but we're in such a better place with H. And I just want to say that we would be grappling with some really difficult conversations about what we're doing for the community, but for that. So again, wanted to thank the voters and everyone who worked on that, because it makes a world of difference. So just pass that on.
Great. A couple things I want to bring up. First is if residents have heard about the strike or the sympathy strike from Republic Services for a lot of the surrounding areas around here, might be wondering if Lafayette's affected. We are not. The contract, the Recycle Smart, which is our Joint Powers Authority that regulates and manages our garbage, organics, and recycling. We have our contract has a no sympathy strike clause, and so our drivers are going to be expected to they're going to be there. They're picking up all the cans, and everything should be as normal for cities Lafayette. The only impact, which is hidden from our residents is that the composting facility we normally use is now closed down, shut down in sympathy, but there's a Plan B site that we are using for composting. So for our citizens, it's no impact at all. So again, it's great. It was good foresight by the Recycle Smart Board before I joined, of course, to have that clause in there, which is terrific. The second item I wanted to bring up was just in the daily email that came out from the city today. It talked about what Danville did with e-bikes. And I just don't know if you had a chance to look at that. It was a very thoughtful thing. You know, Danville's been struggling. I think we're all struggling with e-bikes, but Danville in particular has been really hard hit by them. They just had kind of a public study session, came out with 4 recommendations around community outreach, education, increased enforcement, state advocacy to get additional laws passed at the state level, and then looking at if there are any local ordinances that Danville should be considering to help regulate and make e-bikes more safe. I actually don't think in this case we need to reinvent the wheel. I actually think Danville's ahead of us on this. I would like just to monitor closely what they do, take their best practices, and with making sure it's appropriate for Lafayette, see if we can leverage those. So let's use what they're doing and just kind of follow along, because I think they're I feel like they're about 18 months ahead of us, and we might as well learn from what they're doing.
Great idea. So a couple things from the mayor's meeting last week. We did vote on a resolution proclaiming July 17th as Port Chicago Remembrance Day. So it is now official in the books for all time, which is greatly overdue. Another thing is that I thought Jim might be mentioning it, but we've been working hard on SB 79 with Sacramento and trying to possibly get some amendments, some changes to SB 79 for our city and Orinda and other cities that have a lot of areas that are very high fire danger right next to our transit. There's also MTC is kind of rolling out the same rules as SB 79 if we want to get OBAG grant funding. So this is not a fight we have just with the state anymore. We may be having it with MTC as well. So it's important for us to get this right and to advocate for our cities right now as we move forward. And the final thing is that at the SWAT meeting, it's usually not very exciting stuff, but we almost got something passed that I was really excited about. Candace Anderson spearheaded a free rides on County Connection for the summer. And in the first month, in June alone, and so there is a Pass for Schools kind of thing, program for kids. They can get free rides, but you have to jump through all these hoops, and there's only 1,000 of them. And it's kind of thing. So Candace said, forget about it. I want kids that are young just be able to run on the bus and run off the bus and no questions asked. And so ridership in the month of June last year was 650 extra rides with the Pass for Class program. With the free one with no strings, 11,500 new rides. Outrageous success. And so we'll also get the numbers for July. So we in SWAT kind of went a little rogue and said, hey, we're going to push off our money for the schools one and just try to do this free one until the end of the year and get a lot of data on it and just understand, really do a pilot right. And so we all kind of voted, sucked it up, and Candace was super excited and voted for it. And then we did, and then Transpac meeting was 2 days later and they didn't. So we're not going to get it this year, but we are going to get our ducks in a row and make sure beginning next summer, all the way to the start of the year, we're going to have free bus rides and just see how successful this thing is. It was just outstandingly successful. So those are the things that I wanted to report on. All right, so next item, Mayor Kendall, Vice Mayor Anduri, Resolution 2025-30, appointing Lafayette representative and alternate representative to the Contra Costa Library Commission. So we had a meeting, we had 2 amazing applicants, and we need to assign a representative and an alternate. And we decided to recommend Sarah Blumenfeld as a representative and Stuart Robinson as the alternate. So do we have any questions or any public comment?
Mayor Kendall, I have no speaker slips for persons in the Don Tatson Community Hall, and I have no hands raised in our virtual audience for item 16B.
Great.
I was waiting for this, Mary Ann
Oh,
Hoisington.
well, welcome, Mary Ann.
So here's Mary Ann Hoisington.
I just want to congratulate you on your choice. I think that it's just going to be wonderful. I'm not worried about leaving the position at all because I think that these two people are going to do a terrific job. So thank you very, very much.
Oh, no, thank you, Mary Ann, for your dedicated years of service in this position. We really appreciate it. And I too agree, we have got some wonderful people to follow up on your legacy. Thank you.
Thank you.
No additional speakers.
Okay, great. So do we have a motion?
Yeah, I move adoption of resolution number 2025-40 with a change to the now therefore line that'll read, now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Lafayette recommends to the Contra Costa County Board of Supervisors the appointment of the following named citizens: Sarah Blumenfeld, our representative, and Stuart Robinson, alternate.
Good catch. So we only are a recommending body for the county supervisors. They have never not taken the recommendation. It's just a formality, but you're right, the resolution has to be written right. So I second that motion with the amendments as proposed by Carl. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Unanimous. We'll go to Councilmember McCormick.
Yeah, so we had two different things going on with the Crime Prevention Commission. We had a re-interview for an expiring term, and then we had a new applicant because we had one opening. And I'm pleased to report it was an excellent interview with both. They were both, very long-term members of the community, very supportive of police and just the community in general, and what just kind of like the extension of the of what they can do to help. I think overall with the interviews, very excited to formally support Denise Brown's reappointment to the commission as a commissioner, continuing her long service, and a appointment of a new commissioner, Ken McCormick, no relation, who brings a wealth of information in the Alameda County District Attorney's Office, and is doing phenomenal stuff with white collar crime, which I think a lot of our police is doing now is about trying to scam avoidance, especially for seniors. He has a lot of great experience there, so I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of that commission. So I would like to formally, well, that's my thing. So I certainly would recommend both those to be on the Crime Prevention Commission.
All right, thank you. Any questions? All right, any public comment?
No public comments.
Great. So we have a motion.
I'd like to make a motion, or I think would be to approve resolution 2025-29, appointing two members to the Crime Prevention Commission, Denise Brown and Ken McCormick.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
We are unanimous. Again, thank you. And for written communications, we have an email from the La Miranda Arts Council requesting a proclamation recognizing the La Miranda Arts Council's 75th anniversary. So we have a letter in support of them and a resolution for their 75th anniversary. Do we have any questions? All right, do we have any public comment?
No public comments.
Great. I do want to say this was an easy one. They have done such an amazing job for so many years in our city. Just a wonderful thing for us to celebrate and to have this and to approve this proclamation. So I'll move that we approve this proclamation.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And the last item is to adjourn. Thank you.